138 pounds in the black corner. From St. Louis,
Here comes Mr. Pro.
Andre the Giant.
Gonna get his legs set on the bruiser.
Hulk Hogan. Number one, the greatest WWE champion of all time, and in many ways, the man who made the title what it is today, Bruno Sammartino.
His opponent weighing 236 pounds in the white corner. From Van Nuys, California.
Welcome into another edition of the Retro Wrestling Rewind. As always, I am David Fine, alongside my tag team partner, the true Long Island IZ, the man who is, they're going into phase 2. I don't know what that means in New York. I've been told the strip clubs are opening. Alex G, is that true that in phase 2 they open up the strip clubs, or is that just a rumor?
That is incorrect. That is just a rumor. It means that the glory holes are opening back up.
I didn't know the glory holes were ever closed, but I mean, what do I know? SummerSlam 1991.
No.
Survivor Series 1991. I mean,
that is correct.
Yeah, I'm a little drunk. It is. I consider this. I'm going on vacation, so I'm as they call it, pre-gaming in the drinking field. I think during this quarantine, there's been a lot of day drinking. Do you day drink?
I do not.
Do you night drink?
No, I do not.
God, you are no fun, but that's beside the point. The one thing about this quarantine is that you get to binge on professional wrestling. And before we get into to Survivor Series 1991, did you happen to catch this past week's In Your House? NXT In Your House? Did you hear that you brought back the legendary, the awesome concept of In Your House?
I did. I did not watch the show because I don't watch trash on TV historically.
Well, yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I mean, the matches were, it's in front of a crowd of Performance Center enhancement talent, but that's
I'm a big fan of Todd Pettengill, by the way.
Yeah, Todd Pettengill, he looks pretty good for his. Wasn't he? No, that was Sean. Was it Sean Mooney or Todd Pettengill? That was a big. Newsman up in the New York area. Was that Todd?
Sean Mooney was an anchor. I guess most well known up here for being on WOR. Yeah. Todd Pettengill was a big radio personality and DJ in New York.
Did you say Todd Pedophile? Oh,
no.
Pettengill. Sorry. Anyway. To get back to the only reason I mentioned the NXT In Your House is because the only thing that was just like the old In Your House was they had the old In Your House set, which was actually pretty cool. And Todd Pettengill, he's like, and tonight on In Your House NXT, you're going to win a new house. Not really. You remember that whenever they gave away that house, that first In Your House?
Yeah, they did. And I think the people who actually won the house ended up selling it like a year or two later. It was in Florida too.
Yeah. But getting back to the present and the past, Survivor Series 1991.
Survivor Series 1991, the Gravis Challenge. This was the first Survivor Series that featured a singles match. It had a WWF Championship match between Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker. Now, I think I mentioned to you earlier that this is the most 1991 show of 1991, and it very much is. I love 1991 WWF. It's like one of my favorite years of all time because it's completely and utterly insane.
How so?
Let's start with the booking and creative. Now, number one, it's not bad booking. It's not bad creative. It's just shit is crazy because the world of professional wrestling has drastically changed. So we can start off by the portrait of the Ultimate Warrior and what he was doing. Now, the Ultimate Warrior was engaged in a feud with Jake Roberts and The Undertaker. That got scrapped because the Ultimate Warrior is gone. In addition to that, making his debut at SummerSlam 1991 was Sid Justice. Now, the former Sid Vicious coming in from WCW. Again, that changes a lot of the creative going into the fourth quarter of 1991. In addition to that, right after SummerSlam 91, Ric Flair debuts.
Who?
And that, fuck you. The Nature Boy. Woo. Now, Ric Flair coming in. That's taking WCW's top star and adding him to the WWF. And again, the creative direction has to change because you're getting these new guys in, you're getting some departures, you have talent all over the place, and it's more like it's not panic booking, but it's reshuffling the deck. Now, 1991 in general is completely nuts. And we're going to start off as early as late 1990. You want to talk about the Jake the Snake Roberts blinding angle. You want to talk about, and a lot of stuff revolves around Jake the Snake Roberts, but you want to talk about the Slaughter, Hogan, Iraqi deal. We see Fire post-match for WrestleMania 7. They throw a fireball, which has never been seen before in WWF television. Right after, I guess it was supposed to take place right after WrestleMania, but we didn't see it until the next episode. I think Superstars at primetime. We saw Slaughter burning Hogan's face. You had the death of Damien. You had Damien getting squashed by the earthquake. You have the return of Andre Giant, who gets beaten up by earthquake and typhoon. Like, this shit it's fucking nuts. You have the Undertaker doing Undertaker type things. You have the Jake the Snake Roberts and Ultimate Warrior angle where it's like, bury me, Snake Man. And then Jake Roberts turns. You have the retirement of Randy Savage. You have the Miss Elizabeth Randy Savage wedding. You have the reception, which is ridiculous, where Jake Roberts and the Undertaker come out and there's a cobra in the box. That's fucking cool. And that all started because Jake Roberts was trying to get into Macho Man's bachelor party and Bobby Heenan wouldn't let him in. So that's why he crashed the reception. So you have all this crazy shit. It's so different and it's dark. And the work rate matches, some of them are good, some of them are not. You have the ascension of one of my favorite tag teams of all time, Power and Glory. I think the Rockers are in their prime here. You have Intercontinental Champion Kerry Von Erich here. Intercontinental Champion Bret Hart here. So again, you have a lot of moving parts and a lot of things are changing.
The one thing about this show that I kind of noticed is there's only only 5 matches that you see, and it's interesting. One of the main events, or the main event, is most of the Survivor Series are 4-on-4, but there is one that's 3-on-3. I mean, I don't understand.
Originally it was supposed to be Sid Justice as the 4th guy, but he's out with an injury, and then they were going to do something where they were going to have Savage replace him. But you know what happens with that? That gets crazy. So they did the whole reinstatement of Randy Savage type deal. You have the Cobra angle, which is bananas, where you have Jake Snake Roberts, having the Cobra and it bites Macho Man, and he's all fucking delirious and stuff. So the doctors are not gonna let him come on the show. So that being said, they take Jake off the show. So the final Survivor Series match is 3-on-3. So they're going to push off Jake Roberts and Randy Savage. So this Tuesday in Texas, which they mentioned like 36 times on their show. The phrase "this Tuesday in Texas,"
which we'll actually be covering on next week's show. But
it's almost like it's like you could watch them together, and that's the way I really people should really watch. Survivor Series 91 is incomplete. It's an incomplete show. It's very short.
Yes.
So
very short.
If you take Survivor Series and you put it together with this Tuesday in Texas, it's a more complete show. Although you have some overlaps there or what have you. But 1991 WWF is completely insane.
And the first match, yeah.
The first one. No, wait, before we go into the matches, fuck that. I want to talk about Hulk Hogan and Undertaker.
Okay.
Now, Undertaker debuted the year prior, Survivor Series 1990. Now, do you think it's too early for him to get the belt here?
Yep.
Why do you think it's too early?
He's a year in the. Well, he's not a year in the business because he's wrestled before, but he's a year in the WWF at the time. I just think he's just. I don't know.
Because they're getting the belt off of Hogan. Because Hogan, I don't know what they knew in terms of he's going off to film Mr. Nanny at this point.
That was a blockbuster.
It was a shit.
Terrible movie.
But it has some redeeming values. There were some other movies that he did were really, really bad.
Like,
But
no
this
holds
was a
barred.
mainstream film, regardless. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a direct-to-video like nonsense. This was a full feature, a mainstream movie that he was going to do. So we have to get the belt off of Hogan. What's the correct booking direction here? Like, where do you go? Because you're not going to put the belt on Jake because he's entangled with the Macho Man. You have Undertaker there, who is supposed to be feuding with Sid Justice, sort of, kind of, but not really, because Sid is playing softball or he's injured or whatever. You know, he's not there, right?
He's probably playing himself.
So if you look based on their roster, unless you're going to do Hogan Flair here, which probably was the right thing to do here, I don't know what other direction they would go in. They're not going to put the belt back on. They're not going to put the belt on DiBiase, right? Their roster is very thin. So look at the wrestlers on the show in terms of heels that you could do. Flair. You have the Mountie, Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase, the Warlord, Berserker, Colonel Mustafa, Hercules, Skinner. You have Taker. You have the Nasty Boys. You have the Beverleys. Then you have IRS, the Natural Disasters.
And Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man's not a heel.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn him.
So,
I mean, he'd be a great heel.
He's Big Boss Man. 1992 is the second biggest babyface in the WWF ever since Warrior left. That's just the reality of the situation. He's number 2 babyface, right? So that's a good position for him. No reason to turn him yet. So where do you go? I guess, to me, it's like Taker is the only viable option unless you're going to do Flair getting the win here. So the way you would book it out is Flair gets the win here over Hogan with the shenanigans finish. They go back to this Tuesday in Texas. They have another kind of goofy finish there. And then you go right into Royal Rumble, and then everything is booked exactly the same because you will have Jack Tunney strip Hulk Hogan of the belt, like he did after this Tuesday in Texas. That's probably the only other option. Now, I think they were banking on that Hogan Flair match for WrestleMania, and then that's why they didn't pull the trigger here. I don't know why you would think that, because he's going off to shoot a movie. He's not going to be back for a fucking year. So if you're not going to do Flair and Hogan a Survivor Series, you're probably not going to do it. So that's probably the best bet for what they should have done. Now, that's if you think it's too early. Now, Undertaker gets a transitional run here. He gets a week, essentially, as a champion, and they don't really mention it after this. So they never refer to Undertaker, even when he turned babyface as former WWF champion Undertaker. His first real run wasn't until 1997. So he holds the belt for a minute, and then he's off. He's in the Ultimate Warrior spot. And what I mean by the Ultimate Warrior spot is that I have this theory that if the Ultimate Warrior didn't leave WWF after SummerSlam 1991, he would have had the Undertaker spot. And what I mean by the Undertaker spot is the Ultimate Warrior would have been the guy to fight Giant Gonzalez and Kamala and King Kong Bundy and Kama and all these kind of creatures, right? Like Undertaker for a while was just fighting creatures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's fighting all these really awful matches against other monsters, right? He's a good monster fighting evil monsters. My theory is that if Warrior didn't leave, he would be fighting the monsters and would probably keep Undertaker heel. So I think, although people are getting into Taker and they would turn him babyface not too long after this anyway. That being said, I think they probably would have kept him heel and had Ultimate Warrior fight Giant Gonzalez, which sounds awful because it is.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of The Undertaker, if he makes one last run in the year 2020, even though we're currently talking about the year 1991 and he started in the WWF in 1990, which persona would you imagine would work the best if this was his one last ride, which is bullshit. That guy's going to be in the business until the day he dies, literally probably in the ring. Which persona would you put him under as a one last ride for The Undertaker?
Mean Mark. Let's bring back Mean Mark.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I mean, Mean Mark Callis, come on. He was managed by, wasn't he managed by Theodore Long?
He was. He was also managed by Paul Lee Dangerously.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman, that would...
Bring back Mean Mark.
Yeah, but I love the Undertaker. He's had a long running gimmick, but I'm just a fan of the original Undertaker, like when he first came out with Brother Love, Paul Bearer and everything, and it was introduced by Ted DiBiase. But he just needs to go away. I mean, we're fucking talking about him in 1991, and we're still talking about him in 2020. I mean, if anybody has been watching the current WWE product and saw the shenanigans and tomfoolery of their match in Saudi Arabia, I think it was last year, maybe early this year, it was crap. I mean, it was Goldberg, Undertaker. It looked like shit. I mean,
Undertaker has the ability to have good matches with people that can carry him to a good match.
So you're trying to
right
say
now, so
yeah.
So like if in reality, if you would have put AJ Styles and Undertaker in a regular singles match, I think that match would have been pretty good.
But Goldberg, no.
Goldberg is basically untrained,
and he's been.
That's the reality of the situation.
I mean, he's a former Universal Champion. He's a former champion in WCW. I mean, it's the only reason, like we've been said before, the only reason the title's been put on him is because he gets it over. I mean, there's some people who love Goldberg. They get drawn to, for some strange reason, they like Goldberg, and I don't know why.
Goldberg was over, and he still is. But is he over because he has this kind of weird charisma? Yeah, I guess. Is he over because the way they book him? That's probably more appropriate.
Yeah.
So if Goldberg was a character today, it would have been 50-50 booking. He would lose half the time on Raw. He would get beat on pay-per-view, and he wouldn't have a character. The only thing that made Goldberg special was the streak.
Yep. Thank God that came to an end. But the thing that,
he never improved as a worker. He got to a certain point in 1998, and he's never progressed more than that.
No. I mean, I just think people liked that he won matches and he had this streak. I mean,
he has a cool presentation. Like, he was jacked up, dude. He was fucking when he jackhammered Big Show. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, he was definitely over, but that wasn't going to last very long.
No, it was not. But I mean, yeah. I can't stand Goldberg. Not a fan.
When we talk about modern top performers or modern top acts, right?
Yeah.
One of the qualities that they need to have to be a top performer in the world of professional wrestling is the ability to overcome bad creative.
Yeah.
If you can't overcome bad creative, you're not going to be a top guy, because most of the creative is fucking the drizzling shits. I was having a conversation regarding Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle has all the tools, so he can work. He has a unique look, right? He has a lot of charisma. He's a dynamic personality. He has all the tools. The only that we don't know about Matt Riddle is if he can overcome bad booking, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely. I mean, he's been brought up to the main roster. I don't think he's debuted yet, but I mean, if he has, I couldn't tell you because to be honest with you, I only watch one promotion now, and it's on Wednesday nights at 8:00. But it's AEW. But even though they brought in Mike Tyson, which I think is terrible, but that's he's probably legitimately going to kill Chris Jericho, but we'll see. But I mean,
what's the 2020 version of Mike Tyson and so what's the equivalent of 1998 Mike Tyson in 2020? Like what personality or star that you pull from quote unquote shoot sports?
Conor McGregor. I'm not sure.
That's the guy, right? That's the guy. That's the guy. If I'm WWE and I'm looking to do something, that's the guy.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to get that mainstream. Like Tyson in 2020, he's going to get some mainstream attention, but he's not it's not 1998 anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Conor McGregor just retired, mixed martial arts. He may want to do professional wrestling. His entire thing is based on professional wrestling anyway.
Yeah, we know how good the WWE was with their former UFC MMA people. I think they had one of the guys had one debut. He didn't have a match, and then he got let go after this whole the pandemic thing when they let a lot of people go. But I mean, I don't know. I think he could go.
UFC guys or MMA guys shouldn't go directly to WWF. That's you can't learn to work that way.
Nope, you cannot. But
we gotta do what Riddle did. Riddle did it the right way.
Yeah.
We gotta do what like Tom Lawler's doing. He's doing it the right way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a craft that you have to hone. It's not like Dan Severn, who was a professional wrestler first, and then he got into the UFC, or Ken Shamrock, which people often forget that was a professional wrestler first.
Yeah. Are you a big
Vince Torelli?
Are you a big filthy Tom Lawler fan? Dirty Tom
Yeah,
Lawler?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm a big Matt Riddle fan. I mean, his personality is, people seem to like it. I mean, he's got a good gimmick. He wrestles with no shoes on. I just want to see, like you said, he's a good performer. He's a good athlete. Legitimately good athlete. It's just depending on the booking. I mean, booking is everything.
The obvious thing is you want to get a big WrestleMania matchup out of him and Brock Lesnar. Right?
Do you ever see that happening?
It probably should. I mean, that's if I'm booking, that's what I'm aiming everything towards, is to try to get this match done at a WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It's Brock Lesnar. These guys have legit backgrounds. You know what I mean? They have shoot backgrounds. When like it wasn't like Matt Riddle was a fucking tomato can in UFC. He was like on a five fight winning streak when he was released from his contract. That's what I would do. You got to put you got to keep it simple, and that's a legit matchup. It's like there's no reason not to do that.
No, I do see that happening. Hopefully one day.
They'll fuck it up somehow, but they always do. But
yeah, it'll end up happening, But
end up getting fucking Riddle jobbing out to Brooklyn Randy Orton or Sheamus or something.
I don't know. I see them hopefully giving him, a good run. But talking about the first match of the card, we had the Mountie, the real world champion, Nature Boy Ric Flair, Ted DiBiase, and the Warlord with Harvey Whippleman, Jimmy Hart.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If you had to do a WWF 4 Horsemen, who's in it?
Of course, Flair. DiBiase.
Okay, Flair, DiBiase. Who else?
I say Roddy Piper.
Okay, as the heel.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I see Sergeant Slaughter.
Slaughter, that's interesting.
Because he's definitely a freaking good heel. I remember watching him back in the Mid-Atlantic. He was good. He was good in the WWF. The whole, anti-American thing. He could really get the fans not to like him. And then, they were taking on Bret Hart, the British Bulldog, Rowdy Piper, and my favorite wrestler, Virgil. Your thoughts on this match?
So what's the big angle? Well, there's a couple different angles going into this. You have Mountie and Bret Hart. You have Roddy Piper and Flair, who are doing house show matches. Virgil, DiBiase, and Warlord and the British Bulldog. We're all engaged in and angled and feud together. So for Survivor Series matches, like everyone has issues with the other team. Not a big fan of the finish of this match because it makes zero sense.
Why don't you? Do
you not know the finish of this match?
Yes, I know the finish of the match. I just want people at home who may have not watched it. Why don't you like the finish of the match?
All right, have you ever watched Survivor Series 1991? What the fuck's your problem? People at home. So here's the finish of the match. Flair ends up getting the win here. All the wrestlers in the ring. Well, okay, let me start from the beginning. Flair gets thrown out of the ring. So Flair is on the outside. They had this big brawl inside the middle of the ring, and the referee calls it because they're not breaking a 5. It's just a big brawl. They're gonna fucking throw it out. So they disqualify every wrestler in the ring. But the only wrestler not in the ring was Ric Flair. So Ric Flair wins by default.
Yeah, that's a...
like Survivor Series, they're going to have lame finishes. That's what they do. Survivor Series. People get beat on clothesline. It's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
That being said, that's fucking Lamesville, bro. Like, if you have big plans for Flair, fucking put him over everyone. Let Flair let him do the Superman comeback where it's 4-on-1 and he beats them all. Like you don't put someone over, and this I honestly believe this, right? I'm not a proponent of 50-50 booking. If you're gonna put someone over, fucking you put them over. And let Flair. Oh, he fucking he beats Roddy Piper with a roll up. He beats Virgil with the figure four. He beats Bulldog. And then have him beat Brett at the end. And then you make him legitimate. Now Flair in this match did not have the Real World Championship because they had to send that back to WCW. So that when they digitized the belt, they were using a tag team championship belt.
I love it. Watching it on the network now, it's like they had the big black mark on, the big schmooge on the title. It's just hilarious. I mean, the stuff that they did to cover up him being the real world champion.
And this is very much the Flair show. Like, watch the Flair promos on this show. They're fucking off the charts.
I fucking love Flair. He's still probably my.
What do you think was going to happen? You digitize the belt, and everyone pays the price.
Yep. I think that's why. I think that Charlotte got his greatness gene. Because she's not currently the NXT Women's Champion anymore. Spoiler alert if you didn't watch NXT TakeOver. She lost it to some lady. I have no idea who the hell she is, but I assume she's over.
I'm under the assumption that she just beat Asuka for the belt.
No.
On Raw.
Huh?
I'm pretty sure she beat Asuka for the belt on Raw right now.
Well, I don't know. I'm not currently watching it. That could be why she lost the title on NXT TakeOver.
That don't make no sense.
No. She can get over a bag of chips. She is that fucking good. She has made the women's division. There are a lot of great women's female wrestlers, in the WWE, not in AEW. That's a whole different can of worms. But she is probably the greatest of all time as far as women's wrestlers. That's just my opinion. Your thoughts?
In the United States? Because I have made that distinction.
In the whole entire world.
No. Sorry. I'm not even sure she's better than Sherry Martel.
You don't think she's better than Sherry Martel?
I do not think she's better than Sherry Martel.
We have our own opinions, and we'll debate that on another topic. But
yeah, she just beat Asuka, by the way.
Thanks. Spoiler alert. I'm not going to watch that. I really don't watch I don't watch WWE.
So you really think Charlotte Flair? I'm not going to count any of the Japanese women because they're far ahead, superior to her, and everywhere. Go back and watch All Japan Women's, Lioness Asuka, Dump Masamoto, any of those women, right off the bat. You want to talk about? You talk about Americans. I still would probably put Sherry Martel above her, and. She might be at the same level as Medusa or Alundra Blaze if you want to be a dick. She's very good. She's still ranked very high. It's just Sherry Martel had the ability to create more heat as a heel. She was ridiculous, and she would bump for the guys like no one's business.
Yeah, I will let you have that, and we're not going to debate it right now, but yeah, we have our own people that we think are great, and you're a big Medusa, Alundra Blaze, Sherry Martel.
She brought women's Japanese wrestling to the United States on a mainstream level. Yeah, we had the Jumping Bomb Angels and stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think Charlotte is better than fucking. What's her face? Why am I having a fucking
brain fart?
Not having a brain fart. I don't think she's better than Judy Martin. I'm just saying.
We're gonna have to have a debate on that another day, and for another.
Judy Martin of the Glamour Girls. Nah, she's better than Leilani Kai.
Is she better than Mount Fiji from Glow?
the glow wrestlers, most of them end up being real wrestlers. They're pretty shitty.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we won't debate that today. But we will talk about and debate Jim Duggan, Sergeant Slaughter, the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, and Tito Santana, taking on your favorite wrestler, the Berserker, Colonel Mustafa, Hercules, and Skinner, with General Adnan and Master Fuji.
You're a big Skinner fan?
Oh, I mean, this is his best gimmick. I mean, I love a wrestler who wrestles with chewing tobacco in his mouth and a hat on sometimes. I don't like that. That's just gross. I mean, it was a terrible gimmick. Didn't you think for him? Or did you think
Mid-card city here. Duggan, clearly in the mid-card here. Slaughter. This guy was just wrestling. This guy was just main event of WrestleMania, and now he's a babyface, and Texas Tornado hasn't done anything for a year at this point. And Tito hasn't done. This is pre-El Matador, so what are you gonna do there? Berserker, he's pretty fresh in. He doesn't last very long. You got fucking Iron Sheik here. He can't do much. You got a bloated Hercules Hernandez here, and then you have Skinner. So there's not even really an angle here either. Wasn't the Orient Express around at this time too? Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, because they had who was in the Orient Express? That was Kato and Tanaka, correct?
There was yeah.
Well, we wouldn't,
at this time, yeah, it was Tanaka. It was fucking bad company.
Yeah, I mean, because they had Kato in the dark match against Chris Chavez. So.
Yeah. So I don't know where Pat Tanaka is. Maybe he's hurt.
I mean, he could be. I mean, it's...
Chris Chavez is, right?
Chris Chavez. Oh, yeah, that's Tanaka. Or Tatanka. Tanaka. Wow. Yes.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Oh, man. I love...
You know what I want to see in 1991? I want to see General Adnan versus Mr. Fuji in 1991. That's the match I want to see.
I want to see Sheik Adnan Al-KC.
Yeah.
You a big fan of
he's really Iraqi, by the way.
Well, man. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't even, aren't from or...
No, because Mr. Fuji's first name is Harry. He's from Hawaii.
That'd be great if his name was Harry Fuji.
It is.
Harry Fuji. That's funny.
Well, it's Harry Fujiwara if you want to be a jerk about it.
Or I want to be a dick about it because, I like that. But, the one thing that I cannot, I mean, as much as I, make fun of the current product and I make fun of some of the hijinks and shenanigans and tomfoolery and how Sid Vicious Justice likes to play softball, that's probably why he wasn't here. The thing we cannot make fun of is your YouTube channel. I mean, in this pandemic, I have been watching and binging on your YouTube channel. I don't know. It's like my YouTube on my TV and my computer are broken. I cannot get it off your channel. But if people don't know what the hell I'm talking about and they want to hear and listen to your hijinks and shenanigans and tomfoolery, how do they get to your YouTube channel and how do they follow you on Twitter?
Well, you want to go on YouTube.com if you don't know what it is. You guys know what the YouTube is, right? And what you want to do, you're going to hit the little search thing in there, and you'll type in Retro Wrestling Games Presents in it. And it'll pop up like 366 videos. And that's going to be fucking dope. In the can right now, I just got to put it up, was the latest episode of the AWA 1990 project. And we talk about AWA Starcade 1985. It's a dope show.
Yeah, I mean, it's, it would be even doper if I was ever invited to be on it, but
no. No.
No what?
Oh.
That's okay, I understand. I know you have your current tag team partner over there that you...
What do you know about Starcade 85?
Starcade 85?
Starcade 85. AWA Starcade 85.
I don't know anything about it.
That's my point.
Do you know anything about it?
It's a fucking dope show. You had Vern Gagne coming out of fucking retirement. You had fucking Sergeant Slaughter in the main event in the steel cage. Awesome.
Are you trying to say that I should pull it up on YouTube and see if I can get it?
It's not there.
How the hell do you watch it?
I have it.
What?
I have such great shows as AWA Turkey Turmoil, Starcade 85, Wrestling for a Cure, and Superpowers Clash. Awesome.
And you still have these? They were not deleted on your computer? Didn't you have a
No,
big...
I didn't lose any wrestling footage on my computer.
Well, that's good. And when are the fans of the Retro Wrestling Rewind going to get a glimpse into some of these fancy AWA shows like the Turkey show and the Cure of whatever that other show was?
Wrestling for the Cure?
Yes.
Soon. I mean, again, like Starcade, I have it. It's already recorded. I have to edit it and then put it up. That'll be sometime this week, I hope, depending. And then the other shows, we're going to be recording those in the not so distant future. Again, we're kind of doing some deep cuts here. Again, there's a lot of shows that we could do, and we talk about everything else too. We talk about our booking simulator, and that's, for those of you who don't know, we are trying to save the AWA, and we rebook it. And currently, right now, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is the AWA World Champion, and he's currently feuding with Bam Bam Bigelow on top. You have Terry Funk coming into the AWA for the first time. You have a great feud between Scott Flash Norton and Terry Funk taking on Cactus Jack and Norman the Lunatic. You have another fantastic feud with Tully Blanchard and Hector Guerrero in this fictional AWA. You have DDP's there, and he's managing King Kong Bundy, Scotty Flamingo, and Bam Bam Bigelow. You have the return of David Sammartino as a heel. That's interesting. Of course, you have your Larry Zbyskos and what have you. No Greg Gagne on my show though, because he's not allowed on TV anymore.
Why is he
and
not?
then we do have other segments like crazy shit Greg Gagne says, because Greg Gagne says crazy shit from time to time. Like they invented the NWO, and Vern Gagne invented UFC, and Hulk Hogan was supposed to come back to the AWA in 1991, and so we deep dive into those statements and see if they're factual or they're he's full of shit. It may surprise, and the results may surprise you.
So you're trying to say that I should watch these episodes on your YouTube channel?
I know you've been saying you've been watching for the last 2 months. I thought you would have caught it by now.
No. You know what? What?
I guess you watch them on mute then.
Just be because I'm not allowed on the show. I think I'm gonna promote it. But you know what? I'm done watching it. Actually, no. Okay. It's actually a great channel, folks. I mean, I'm all, kidding aside. I mean, just, he always says, the great Alex G, he doesn't care if you give a comment and it's, saying something bad, saying something hurtful. He just wants you to comment. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. I don't get too many comments on my videos. Like, I'll give you an example right now. I reviewed WCW NWO Revenge for the Nintendo 64, right? As 5,108 views, 72 likes, and 3 comments. I don't even know how that's even possible.
What, to have 3 comments?
To have so little comments on this particular video.
Why?
And they're all positive. It's just it's like I've gotten like 2 negative comments since 2016 for 4 years. Someone was really upset that I said WCW Nitro, the video game for PlayStation 1, was absolute shit. And it is absolute shit. And he was very upset about that.
I mean, hey, everybody.
And then someone was mad at me because I got some facts about Puerto Rico wrong. That was it. That's the only negative comments I've got.
I mean, hey, you got a great channel. So check that up on YouTube and, of course, on Twitter. Next match we had on the card was the only singles match on the card. It was for the heavyweight title. The WWF World Champion Hulk Hogan taking on The Undertaker.
The immortal Hulk Hogan.
The pill popping, let's take your vitamins, which means steroids, the immortal Hulk Hogan.
First of all, it's 1991 professional wrestling. If you're not taking pills and taking steroids, then you're not a professional wrestler.
Do you think The Undertaker was taking steroids?
Yeah. Although he has slimmed down since coming from WCW.
Yeah, I guess dead people can take.
You can take Winstrol to cut weight for sure.
Yeah,
not all steroids make you fucking jacked.
No. I mean, and speaking of drugs, I mean, your buddy Matt Riddle, he's he's a known weed smoker. So I mean, I'm not sure if he does it.
He likes the marijuana. He likes it. There's nothing wrong. I mean, I don't partake myself. You know.
Do you ever do anything to have fun?
1999 was cocaine. That was awesome.
Yeah, man. 1999. I lived in South Florida. Yeah, it was. You can get some good stuff down there, but that's neither here nor there. But
again, you gotta have personal responsibility. It's one of those things like, yo, I like this way too much.
Yeah,
I'm like 30 seconds away from becoming a crackhead, so I probably should stop.
You should probably. But speaking of things that, I mean, what were your thoughts on this match? I mean, Taker, the immortal Hulk Hogan for the title. Of course, The Undertaker beats Hulk Hogan for the belt.
I mean, work rate rise is not the greatest. I've seen Hogan have better matches, and I've seen Undertaker have way better matches.
Yeah.
For what it's supposed to be, Undertaker's Michael Myers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
So he wrestles like Michael Myers would wrestle, right? He's a fucking slasher villain, right? So in that way, he's like, yeah, he did everything it was supposed to. He had Flair coming out, causing mischief. And they kept on talking about this football player. There was a football player who got paralyzed. And Hogan went to go visit him in the hospital before the show.
Uh-huh.
And then they do the whole stretcher things, which I thought was in poor taste. Because it's funny because Hogan tried to politic with Taker and was like, yo, Undertaker really fucking hurt me with that pile driver. And if you watch the pile driver again, he's nowhere. I remember seeing my entire life. Like, he is so, like, Hogan's head is like on his stomach. Like, he had him so far up.
Yeah.
So you had Flair who put the chair in 1, 2, 3, and Taker wins the belt here. And I think everyone was shocked. I know I was when I was watching it live. When I was 9 years old, I was fucking shocked, flabbergasted, because you don't think Taker's so new, and he hasn't done a whole lot in terms of high profile. Like he had a household feud with Warrior, and they had a couple of body bag matches, but he didn't do anything necessarily all that high profile. And it's the first time Hogan loses like a pseudo clean to a heel. I guess you can count that Andre stuff too, but. You know, it's just like you don't really expect it, and it was jarring. It was very different. And Taker gets the win here, and Hogan gets fucking stretchered out, and that kind of like, and again, it's 1991. You don't see that on, WWF TV like that. So it was very jarring, but all that, who knew that we were going to watch it again this Tuesday in Texas? And I mentioned it was this Tuesday in Texas.
Yes. And, of course, like I said before at the beginning of the program, we're going to be talking about that next week on the program. It was funny. This match was the shortest match of the night.
I'm not surprised. It's a Hogan match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it lasted.
You want them to go fucking 20 minutes?
No. But you know what? It went more than 20 minutes? The next match. The Nasty Boys, the Beverly Brothers, taking on the Bushwhackers and the Rockers. This went 23:06. I mean, how?
Well, this is more of an angle match. So this is all part of the Rockers breakup angle. So that's why this match kind of goes the way it does. It's funny. This is a heel. Heels win a lot on this show. Heels win in the first match. Taker wins. Nasty wins. That's a lot for a Survivor Series or any pay-per-view and during this time frame. Like, the heels win a lot on this show. Bushwhackers are the whackers, and they're just this is the backdrop of this Rockers breakup. That's going to be a big deal moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of these teams. I mean, the only person I'm really a fan of is the Genius, Lanny Poffo.
You didn't like the Rockers?
No, not a big Shawn Michaels fan. Not a big Marty. I mean, he's a good worker, but I'm just.
Because 1995 into 1996, Shawn Michaels might have been the best wrestler in the world at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's better. He's better as a singles wrestler. I mean, tag team he was good, but I mean, I don't know.
Jannetty was considered the better worker of the two too for the longest time.
And look at who turned out a lot better.
Marty's Marty.
Yeah,
And it's not like Sean's not weird himself.
no.
Get your eye fixed, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I just was not a fan. I'm not a big. I mean, the Nasty Boys. I mean,
Did I like the Beverly Brothers? The Destruction Crew? I thought they were a good team.
no.
Nasties are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the Nasties. I can take. I like the Bushwhackers. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the Bushwhackers. I'm more of a Sheepherders fan. They were more of a brutal tag team. Bushwhackers, they were just gimmicky.
What's your favorite Sheepherders match?
I don't have a favorite Sheepherders match.
Oh, they're all good, right?
Yes, they're all good. I can't distinguish one of them. Anyone that they hit somebody with a flagpole. Oh, that was most of the matches in the NWA with Rip Morgan as their flag bearer. But yeah, I mean, the Nasties are probably the only ones that I really truly like in this match. I mean, everyone else I can take or leave. But I mean, your thoughts on this match besides that?
That was fine. It's Survivor Series match.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not gonna have long ranging stories coming out of this match. It's just it's a Survivor Series match, and the Rockers break up.
yeah, I mean, I'm
That
kind
angle is probably the greatest angle. I bet the Rockers split is probably the best tag team split of all time.
You think?
I put that slightly above Barry Windham turning on Lex Luger. Like, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, the Luger turning on Barry and the whole Midnight Rider thing and that kind of shenanigans and tomfoolery. I mean, for the time, I really was a fan of that. But yeah, I mean, the whole Shawn kicking Marty in the face and he, on the in the plate glass window, I mean, and turning on him. I mean, I just thought that was, I mean, I don't know if that would go well today, but it went well back in the, the early 90s.
Yeah.
But, oh man, we are. You know what we're down to? The main event. The Boss Man, the Legion of Doom, Animal Hawk taking on IRS, the natural disasters of earthquake and typhoon.
You think that if they would have done an earthquake Andre team, that would have been cool? Like if Andre's health wasn't fucking shitty?
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Because I'm of the opinion that they probably should have turned Earthquake babyface. I think he could have been the world champion.
You think he would have done good with the belt?
Yeah, 100%. As a babyface, because you would see the reaction he would get when the natural disasters turned babyface, and it wasn't Uncle Fred that was getting that reaction. It was Earthquake. And then you even seen the reaction when he had like those matches with Yokozuna, like in '94. He was getting a strong babyface reaction. I would definitely experimented with a babyface Earthquake. I thought that would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think he could have. He could have. Done well. I mean, it was. But it's one of those things. In hindsight, it's 2020. I mean, you can't.
Well, yeah, because they don't have the. Like, what do you do with Monster's heels once the monster has been destroyed? What do you do with the monster heel? They usually do mid-card tags or comedy after that. They don't really stay in the main events for that long. Look at Bundy. Bundy had that main event with Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 2. By WrestleMania 3, he's in a 6-man tag team match with Hillbilly Jim and Midgets. What do you do with the monster after it's slayed?
Yeah, you can't really do much. Overall, after after it back for, after so many years, because I haven't watched the show in a while. What were your overall thoughts? What grade would you give this this show? Leading into this Tuesday in Texas, which we'll be talking about in a minute, and on the next show.
I felt really this was not necessarily a Survivor Series. Like, this wasn't a pay-per-view show. This is more akin to a Saturday night's main event leading into a pay-per-view. Just the way it's booked and the way it's handled. It seems like, you ever seen the main event like leading into WrestleMania 5 or the main event going into WrestleMania 4? It feels more like that. It feels like more of a special. And people pay full price for the show just to get bombarded with advertising for the next pay-per-view, which is less money happening a week from now.
Yeah,
or 6 days because it's on. I think this was on Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving night.
Oh, Survivor Series, yeah. And then of course I mean, speaking of that, I mean, we're going to be covering that show on the next week. I mean, it's funny. This match, you look at the Wikipedia page, it had 13 matches, but 8 of them were dark matches. And some of these matches, I mean, that were dark could be good. I mean, not a lot of them, but they had Ric Flair taking on Roddy Piper. That could be a good match, but we didn't see that. I mean, overall, I mean, on the card, we had Bret Hart, Randy Savage, the Bulldogs, Repo Man and Ted DiBiase, Hogan, Taker. I mean, they had 5 matches on this Tuesday in Texas. I mean, your thoughts on the overall of the matches that we're going to be talking about next week?
Again, it's very short. I'm curious about like the Sir Charles versus Dale Wolf match, which is Papa Shango is there and Chris Walker and some of these matches I want to say I saw. I don't know because I think they were all taped. I think they went on different Coliseum home videotapes.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. I know they didn't release Tuesday in Texas on like it was a compilation of like it was on like a supercard tape. Like it had all the matches from like all of the pay-per-view matches and a couple extra ones. But I think these darks did air somewhere. If not, as a hidden gem, they should release the whole show. Because I'm curious to see that Harris brothers taking on Brian Costello and Brian Donahue. And I want to see that Flair Piper match. So, hidden gems, people. I know this was taped. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a short show, but I mean, we're going to be covering it next week. But folks, if you want to follow the podcast, just go to Twitter. It's the RW Rewind on Twitter. That is, of course, our website at therwrewind.com. For the great Alex G, as always, I am David Fine. We will talk to you, and we will see you next Tuesday, actually in Texas. But once again, we'll talk to you in the past.